application layer, transport layer, network layer, data link layer, and a physical layer. But whereas the switches or the router what we are using, they are not having all the accessing capabilities. You please carefully see the switch. So which layer it is accessing? Only two layers, that is nothing but physical layer and data link layer. And moreover, router, it is accessing three important layer. What is that? Physical layer, data link layer, and the network layer. And you can see here the link to, that is a switch. Again it is having a physical layer, data link layer, and then finally the destination. Since the destination is where we want to transmit the data, therefore it is starting from physical layer to application layer. So that is physical layer, data link layer, network layer, transportation layer, and a application layer. So means what? If the data is does not belongs to that particular node, means it will not process it completely. So it will check it out whether the data is belongs to me or not. If that data belongs to me, means then I will process the data. If that does not belongs to me, means then simply I will forward the data. So now I will ask you one question. Can anybody tell me why switch is processing only two links, whereas the router is processing three links, whereas the source and destination is processing five layers? Can anybody tell me why it is like that? Anyone? Yes, Deepshi. Why source is accessing five layers, whereas the destination is also accessing five layers, but the intermediate link and the router, it is accessing only 2 to 3 layers. Why it is like that? Anyone? Sonika, Subramanya, anyone? Dilip, why it is like that? Anyone you can answer? Tell me the answer for this. Hmm.
Role of device in the internet.
Both are
Role of device in the internet.
role of device in the internet. What do you mean by role of device in the internet? What do you mean by that? Say I'm telling why the source node is accessing five layers, destination node is also accessing five layer. But whereas the switch what we have used or the router what we have used, it is accessing only two layers. Why it is like that? Yes, Jyoti, are you there?
Yes, sir.
ಯಾಕೆ ಆ ತರ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ? ಏನಾದ್ರು ರೀಸನ್ ಇದೆಯಾ? Anyone? Anyone? Is Dilip is here?
Yes, sir.
Is Dilip, why it is like that? Okay, now I will give you one instance. So let's say we have 7 members in a meeting, right? So now I want to transmit some information. So I have written one letter. Okay, so for that letter, on top of the letter, I have given the name. So let's say I want to transmit the letter to, let's say Deepshi. Okay, so now since I cannot able to reach Deepshi directly, so what I have is I have an intermediate next to me. Dilip is there. So what I will give, I will transmit my letter or I will give hand over my letter to Dilip. Okay, so Dilip he will check whether that belong the letter is belongs to me. He will check if it does not belongs to me, means he will check the address to whom the letter has been written. If that letter does not belongs to Dilip means he will not open the letter. So simply what he will do is he will forward the letter next to near to him. So let's say the next to near to Dilip is Jyoti is there. So what he will do, simply he will forward the packet to Jyoti. So what Jyoti will do, Jyoti will see again whether that letter belongs to me or not, whether in that letter my name is there or not. She will just check the envelope. If it is not present means, so what he will do, she will just forward the packet to the next person who is next to her. So what Rameshri is there. So the Rameshri also she will do the same thing. And Sonika is there. She will also do the same thing. And the next one is Subramanya is there. So he will check whether his name is there in the letter. He will see if it is not there means he will check to the next. He will give it to the next person. The next person is Deepshi. So now what Deepshi will do? She will check the address. So if means my name is there in the letter means, so what she can do is she can open the letter and she can read the information whatever is there in the letter. Okay, so now you can see here when I am writing the letter, I can able to read the information or can able to create the information. When Deepshi wants to read the information which is there, which is specifically assigned for her means she is opening the envelope and she is reading the information whatever there in the letter. But whereas the mediators what we have used, so in this case what are the mediators we have used? We have used the mediators, that is we have used Dilip, Jyoti, Ramya and Sonika and Subramanya they have used. So what they have done is they just see the letter, if it is does not belongs to means they will just forward the packet. So like that in networks also we are doing the same thing. So you can see here from A to router there is one link is there. So means what? And he is an intermediator. So A will transmit the data to link 1 and he will check whether that belongs to me. He will check the address. So for each link or for each intermediator devices we will assign a particular address. Okay, instead of names we will give a address. Why? Because in networking concept names cannot be given. Okay, so therefore universally it has to be accessed or universally it has to be followed. So therefore for each devices we will give the address. Okay, so based upon address only we can identify the devices. So what the when a sender, that is a node A, transmit the data to the link or a switch, so he will check whether that belongs to me. No, it does not belongs to me. So means what you can see here, only physical layer and data link layer it will process it. After processing in the data link layer, it will get to know that whether that letter is belongs to me or not. So it does not belongs to me means simply who is immediate to me, who is next to me, that is a switch link 1, it will just forward the packet. So now that packet will come into the router. Now router what it does is one step ahead or one more process it does when you compare to the switch. So that is the difference between switch and router. Switch what it does it will take the data and it will check it whether that data belongs to me means it will think, it will does not think anything, it will just forward next to him. On next to switch which device is there, it just forward the information. But whereas router will go for one more step. So one more step what it does is it will go for a network layer. So in network layer I will get to know that whether to whom this destination has to be reached and who is near to that destination. So he will have that information. So means what? The router will be having a routing table. So means what? Where exactly the destination is present. So to whom I should transmit my letter to next. So because here you can see here the router is connected to link 2 and the router is connected to link 3. So he should have transmitted to link 3. But why he has not done? Because router has the information where exactly the device is C is situated, B is situated. So therefore, router based upon the routing table what it has, it will see where exactly the destination is there. So since the destination is directly not connected to the router, so the corresponding link where the link will be go and meet the destination. So for that link, the router will forward the data or forward the packet. So therefore, from router to it will go to the link to. So in link to, again what this link will do, switch will do, it will check whether the data is belongs to me. No, it does not belongs to me. So it will go to the device B. In the device B, we will check the whether the address is belongs to me. So yes, if the address is belongs to me, therefore physical layer, data link layer, network layer. In network layer, we will get to know exactly to which address the data is present. So it will check the network layer. Yes, the data is belongs to me, and it will go to the transportation layer and next to the application layer. So the link is nothing but the switch is nothing but it will just forward the data what it is having. It will take from the sender and who is near to him, it will just forward the data. But that is not the case for router. Router what it does is before transmitting data what it has been received, it will check to whom exactly it has to be transmitted. So in that direction it will forward the data. Are you able to understanding what is the difference between switch and router? Hello? Link switch is nothing but it will just forward the data. Means whatever the data is there. So okay, I have received the data. Who is next to me? Okay, I will just link forward the data because I have connected to him. I will forward the data. Whereas router will not do. If 3 to 4 members are connected to him means he will check to whom exactly the data has to be forwarded. So based upon that he will forward the data. So that is the job will be done by the router. Did you understood this one?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Is it over taking down this diagram?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So we'll go for the next one. Okay. So now you can see here how the connections has been implemented through TCP IP protocol suite. Okay, so TCP is nothing but transmission control protocol. TCP is nothing but the full form of TCP is nothing but transmission control protocol. What do you mean by IP? Can anyone tell me what do you mean by IP address? Yes, you know that IP means what? Yes, anyone tell me what you mean by IP? What is IP of your system means what you will say? Hmm. Tell me what you mean by IP? Hmm.
Internet protocol.
Yes, very good. IP means Internet Protocol. So here we are using a transmission control protocol along with the IP protocol to frame a network model. So you can see here there is a logical connections and some physical connections are there based upon the link or based upon how you are transmitting the data from source to destinations. So you can see here the application layer to application layer there is no physical connection is there, therefore it is called as a logical connection. Similarly, transportation layer. So this transportation layer, there also there is no physical connection between the source to destination of the transportation layer. So therefore we are going to call it as a logical connection. Whereas in the case of network layer, so in the network layer also there is no physical connection between the transmitter of the network layer to receiver of the network layer. So therefore there is this is also we are going to call it as a logical layers. But whereas you can see here data link layer and physical layer, they will be acting like a peer-to-peer links we are going to call it as. So you can see the logical layer and the physical layer connection, you can see there is a difference is there. So sometimes it might be physical connection or it might be a wireless connection. So means what, they will be connected somewhat, either it may be wirelessly connected or it may be wired connection will be there. So therefore data link layer and physical layer, there will be a connection between the intermediate nodes, whereas your network layer, transportation layer and application layer, there will be no any physical connection, either it may be wired or it may be wireless, will not be there, but still the application layer, transportation and network layer will communicate from source to destination. So therefore we are going to call it as a logical connection. So you can see here what exactly the information will be gathered in each layer. We can able to identify the in a TCP IP protocol suite. So you can see here in the physical layer, identical objects. So means what, bits we will be checking, identical bits we will be checking in the physical layer, that is which is connected to the router. Okay, next in the data link layer, what we do is we will check for the frames, identical frames. So data link layer, in the transmitter side and the receiver side, we will be having a frames checking will be done. So means the physical data link layer of your transmitter will transmit the frame. The same frames will be available at the receiver in the data link layer. The next one is in the network layer, we go for objects. We are going to call it as a datagrams. Okay, it is also called as a objects. So what do you mean by objects? Objects is nothing but it is having a data along with some functions it will be having. So we are going to call it as a datagram. Next, what we do is we go for a transport layer. So in transport layer, what identical objects are segments or a user datagram. We are going to call it as. We are going to call it as a segments or a user datagram. We are going to call it. So the next one is application layer. In the application layer, what we do is we go for a message transmission, or whatever the message it has been transmitted now from the transmitter, that will be received at a receiver layer. Okay, so these are the 5 important layers. So and each layer, what exactly the data and how it is looking, so you can able to see in this diagram.